You're supposed to honor your dead, not treat them like they're throwaway trash, and that's basically what this looks like.
Right now, a Rock County woman says her son's grave and others near it were damaged. She says the city isn't doing anything about it. And a chase that reaches nearly 120 miles per hour. News 3 has the video released today by law enforcement. How it played out. Straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
And thanks for joining us tonight. As Friday wraps up, the weather will dominate the weekend. We're expecting anything from a cold rain to a heavy accumulating snowfall. All depends on where you live. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has our first alert forecast, trying to straighten it out for us. Dave?
Well, Eric, we have definitely a lot going on over the next 24 hours, or we will, across southern Wisconsin as a powerful low pressure system comes through on Saturday. Here's what things look like on Doppler track right now. Not seeing any precipitation across southern Wisconsin, some light rain showing up in portions of Iowa and severe thunderstorms in portions of Nebraska and Kansas, back closer to where that low pressure system is still getting its act together near the Rocky Mountains. On Doppler track across southern Wisconsin, as I mentioned, we are quiet. We're actually looking at mostly clear skies in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. Temperatures are still near 50 degrees. It's hard to believe in about 6 to 12 hours we get some snow to move in, and some heavy snow at that at times, especially tomorrow afternoon and evening. West-northwest wind at 5 miles per hour. That wind will be blustery at times tomorrow. Temperatures are in the upper 40s and low 50s across southern Wisconsin. We'll be fighting to get out of the 30s. In fact, we'll be stuck in the 30s for much of our Saturday. Wind speeds right now not a major factor, but they will factor into tomorrow's forecast. So starting off with mostly cloudy skies around 7. I think that snow and rain mix starts at around 8 or 9 tomorrow in Madison. And then that snow affecting us for much of the afternoon and evening. We'll talk impacts and totals in your first alert forecasts coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. We're just 4 days away from May, so you'd think we'd be done with this kind of weather. In fact, today, workers at Barnes Landscaping, they were out mowing lawns and mulching. The company says they'd already put away snow plows, but now they're back on the trucks, ready to go in case they're needed tomorrow. They say we are fortunate the snow is coming over the weekend. They say they'll focus on snow in business parking lots that will be open on Sunday. Next at 10, a family in Rock County says their late son's tombstone was damaged and disrespected. They say the city is to blame for it. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with the latest. Adam?
Well, Eric, it's something you just don't anticipate to happen, but did happen to one family here in Janesville. And while their loved one is no longer here, they promise they'll never give up their fight for him.
Sherry Lawrenson says her son Bobby was one of a kind.
But he was the type that if he seen you sitting by yourself, he'd go up and talk to you.
Which is why it was so difficult for her when he developed leukemia and died at age 13.
When Bobby died, it was like there was a hole in my heart. And that emptiness is always there.
That was in 1989. And since then, Sherry has come here to Oak Hill Cemetery in Janesville to visit with him as much as she can.
It was peaceful out here. He picked this spot. That's where he wanted to be buried at.
But when Sherry and Bobby's godmother Val came to visit him this March, they couldn't believe it. His grave marker damaged, and others moved or ripped out of the ground entirely, including one of a World War II veteran.
Hurt, angry, very upset. Shocked, yes, very, very shocked. It's just not right.
They say they contacted the city, who owns and operates the cemetery, and were told that it was because of a burial nearby and that it would be fixed. But more than a month later, nothing.
It's disrespectful to the peoples that's buried here. Disrespect. It's a disgrace.
They say this is an outrage. And while they say they want answers, they also want things to be put back to the way they should be.
You're supposed to honor your dead, not treat them like they're throwaway trash, and that's basically what this looks like.
I tried getting in touch with the city employees who operate the cemetery, but did not hear back from them today. Sherry and Val said they want to get in touch with the other families who are impacted by this in hopes that they can band together and get something done about it.
Adam Duxter in Rock County tonight. Adam, thank you. The city of Madison and Taco Bell have reached a tentative agreement in the ongoing legal fight downtown. The deal would allow the Cantina location on State Street to sell beer and wine until 10 at night. Back in 2017, you may recall the city council approved a license for the location, but it was later vetoed by then Mayor Paul Soglin. There were 2 failed attempts to override it. On Tuesday, Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway and other council members introduced a resolution to end that dispute. The full city council still needs to approve that deal. Following at least 3 reported sexual assaults in Madison schools this year, we're taking a closer look at how administrators respond when an incident like that happens. Superintendent Dr. Jen Cheatham says the district has been working with the Rape Crisis Center to make sure there are trained adults to whom students can report those incidents. A year ago, the Rape Crisis Center recommended strengthening the district's health curriculum to make sure students learn about consent. Dr. Cheatham says every incident is taken seriously.
The issue of sexual assault in particular, I mean, this is one of the most serious, most terrible things that could possibly happen in a school. I mean, in Madison schools, like many schools, that is an expellable behavior, absolutely zero tolerance for that kind of behavior in schools.
Cheatham says after every incident, administrators have a debriefing meeting and decide if other steps need to be taken. A daycare center on the west side of Madison heavily damaged this afternoon when an SUV crashed into the front of it. This is on Zor Shrine Place, just off the Beltline near Westtown Mall. Police say the children were in the back of the building at the time, so no one witnessed it and no one was hurt. The building itself suffered significant damage, as you can see, to the front wall as well as the window.
Anthony Azarian, Anthony Papalardo, Charles Liebfried, unknown worker.
140 names read off today at the Presbyterian Church on Gorham Street. They are all workers who have lost their lives while on the job this year in Wisconsin. This Sunday is Workers' Memorial Day. Included on the list today, 24-year-old Alexander Canoose of Columbus, who died after a fall at a construction site last week on the east side, and Sun Prairie Fire Captain Corey Barr, who was killed in the downtown explosion in Sun Prairie last summer. New tonight, the family of a 5-year-old boy who was thrown from a 3rd-floor balcony at Mall of America says he is now out of critical condition and is alert and conscious. They said the recovery for the boy would be long, but they expect him to be home by June. They say they are now turning their focus on the additional surgeries he will undergo in the healing process. Emmanuel Aranda, who faces 1 felony count of attempted premeditated first-degree murder in connection to that incident, made his initial court appearance last week, where his bail was set at $2 million. Students and staff at UW-Oshkosh are pushing back against hate tonight after a social media post went viral overnight, displaying racist messages and hateful symbols. A photo posted to Twitter shows a whiteboard sign in an off-campus house that reads, "No liberals, Jews, Muslims, queers, or Hmongs." Another picture shows students playing beer pong with a swastika hanging on the wall behind them. It was standing room only at the open forum today. It gave university faculty, students, as well as the community the chance to come together and address what happened. Now, no responsible students have officially been named, and an investigation has now been launched by the Dean of Students and campus police. News 3 Now has obtained new dashcam video just released of a high-speed chase on the interstate. Happened last Thursday afternoon. A man wanted out of Maryland led state troopers on a chase that reached speeds of 119 miles per hour. Lasted nearly 20 minutes. Our Amanda Quintana joins us now, and she has the details. Amanda?
Yes, although it is still unclear what John Stroman is wanted for in Maryland, U.S. Marshals tipped off the Wisconsin State Patrol that his cell phone was pinged in Sparta. Troopers then saw him driving on the interstate, and that's when it all began.
All in the right lane now.
Believed to be transporting drugs, armed and dangerous, John Stroman weaved the Nissan sedan through traffic at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. Troopers attempted to stop the car with spikes several times, but Stroman maneuvered around them. Eventually, he drove over the spikes, blowing one of his tires. Later, coming off completely. The chase ended near DeForest when Stroman stopped the car on the median shoulder. He was arrested without further incident and the car searched. Stroman is being held in the Dane County Jail on tentative charges of recklessly endangering safety and knowingly fleeing an officer. He has yet to appear in court. He also faces extradition to Maryland.
Amanda, thank you. President Trump making a trip to Wisconsin tomorrow night. That has a lot of people busy tonight. He will hold a campaign rally. It'll be at the Resch Center in Green Bay at 7 o'clock. The chair of the Republican Party of Brown County says they are expecting in excess of 10,000 people there. He says he's been securing volunteers for a variety of duties like drivers for the motorcade and ushers for inside. Brown County Democrats will be holding their own rally tomorrow morning. Joe Biden's campaign said it raised more than $6 million in the first 24 hours of his presidential campaign. His aides say nearly 97,000 people donated to the former vice president's campaign. They did not disclose how much of it flowed from online donations, but it did note that 97% of the online donations came in amounts of less than $200. Craigslist users beware. A Dodgeville woman says she was recently targeted by imposters who tried to use not one but two scams to take her money. Amy Malore was selling a piece of camera equipment on Craigslist for $120. She was contacted by a woman who offered to pay $170 for it. A week later, a check showed up in her mailbox for more than $1,800. The scammer instructed her to purchase $700 worth of Google gift cards, keep $170 of them, and then wire the rest back to the scammer. There are really two scams at play here, a Craigslist scam and a fake check scam.
That's the number 3 national scam that's taking place in the United States right now.
In the fake check scam, a check is sent to a consumer written for more than what is owed. The scammer then asks the consumer to wire back the excess money. However, often weeks later, when the bank discovers the check is phony, the consumer then owes the withdrawn funds to the bank. Malore says she caught it. She caught onto it before she lost that money. Well, this weekend, News 3 Now hosting a special event to help protect your identity. It is Shred Fest tomorrow morning, 8:30 until 11 at Warner Park. We're offering free document shredding in partnership with Pelletieri and the Better Business Bureau. For more information, go to channel3000.com/shredfest. And still ahead tonight, accumulating snowfall tomorrow. Dave Caulfield will let us know how much we can expect and when it'll start coming down. But first, an entire local elementary school spends the day doing something good. That story when we come back. Welcome back. A love of both beer and animals brought quite the crowd to Awanakee Brewery tonight. This was Octopi Brewing's launch party for the Llama Love IPA. All proceeds from this beer will go to the Heartland Farm Sanctuary in Verona. That sanctuary takes in rescued farm animals and teaches kids and adults about compassion for animals.
Once you get to know our farm animal friends, they have such wonderful personalities, and I think people start to make that connection. There's a lot of similarities between how I feel about my dog and cat as I do about the potbelly pig, Lola.
Heartland Farms doesn't get any federal or state funding. They rely entirely on donations. The money will go toward veterinary care and food, as well as day camps and other programming for children. Students up in northern Wisconsin ditched their cars this week and drove tractors instead. This also was for a good cause. 2-year-old Gage Zellner was diagnosed with leukemia earlier this year, and his family is struggling financially, so the local high school wanted to help out, putting on this fun event and ultimately raising $15,000 for the family. The school says they want to make this an annual event now as they plan to help another family next year. Well, we like to show fun, heartwarming things happening in our viewing area. Today, an entire elementary school spent the day doing good things for other people. They did things like making cards for a nursing home, hanging up inspirational quotes in the bathrooms, making blankets for shelters. They even planted flowers in the school garden, a tree in the park, and helped out with chores on an apple farm. Many of these children say they like getting out to help other people, and they got to have a lot of fun doing it as well.
It helps out the community. Get to help out with the community.
A great group of kids. This is the first year the school's done something like this. The children said they want to do it now each and every year. Tomorrow is the inaugural regular season home opener for the city's newest sports team, Forward Madison FC, and it has been a busy year for members of this organization. They not only had a petition to bring a team to town, but they had to come up with a name, recruit some players, get the field ready, and with the uncertain weather tomorrow, they say they will play. Rain, shine, or snow, game time 7 o'clock at the beautiful new Breese Stevens Field. So bundle up, go out there and enjoy yourself. We're also going to have folks trying to do Shred Fest tomorrow in this weather. Crazy legs in this weather. It is going to be something.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a day that we're not going to soon forget outside. And
that's not what I wanted to hear you say.
Speaking of Forward Madison, I think a lot of people want to fast forward through the Madison weather for tomorrow. Fortunately, it doesn't work like that, but should be a fun time and definitely a memorable time tomorrow. And it's hard to believe that we're talking about snow when temperatures are still near 50 degrees, and we're looking at mostly clear skies in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. The almanac today, we hit 60, 61 to be exact. Our high temperature, our low at 47. We're going to struggle to get out of the 30s tomorrow, and with that wind out of the east at 15 to 25 miles per hour, it's going to feel like the 20s. The only 20s we should be talking about is the April 27th, which is the actual date. It's just an extraordinary forecast that is going to really take place over the next 24 hours or so. Right now, temperatures, as I mentioned, near 50 in Madison, 50 even in Monroe, and 46 in Janesville. Wind speeds not too bad right now, a little bit gusty today, and those winds will be blustery tomorrow out of the east at about 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here is what Doppler track looks like right now. Nothing across southern Wisconsin. Off to the west, this batch of precipitation is our low pressure system. Still kind of getting attacked together a little bit to the west of us, but already sparking severe thunderstorms in spots like Kansas, Nebraska, into portions of eastern Colorado. And so a lot of energy associated with this system, a lot of moisture associated with this system, and it will come into town and provide us with chances for heavy snow as we get into tomorrow afternoon and evening. So winter storm warning in effect for spots like Madison, the rest of Dane County, for much of southern Wisconsin, off to the north and east. Winter weather advisories in fact for much of Saturday, and just to the south across northwestern Illinois, we do have a winter storm watch. So that got us thinking here at the Weather Department what our latest 1 inch or more of snow was. And we actually had 3 inches of snow back in 1990 on May 10th. So it's not exactly out of nowhere necessarily in regards to precedence. And in 1994, we had about 8 inches of snow on April 30th. But still, when we talk about snow totals like the snow totals we're talking about right now, this is a pretty extraordinary forecast and an extraordinary day that is being set up for tomorrow. And we have a good storm track, very cold air aloft, plenty of moisture and energy with this system, and heavy bursts of snowfall going to help cool the ground and set up the positive factors of this forecast, but we also do have some things going against this storm. We've had many computer model differences over the past couple of days. A warm ground can also cause some issues with accumulation. So it's a really complicated forecast that we're really trying to get all of the parts of over the next 24 hours or so. And also when that changeover occurs can really make a big difference. But for Crazy Legs tomorrow, looking at the possibility of some crazy weather, rain and snow to start us off by about 8. Notice those temperatures actually decreasing as that snow cools the air when the snow is falling, and also some windy and snowy weather for the 10 and noon time hours. So just be ready for a little bit of everything tomorrow, because we definitely could see it. So that snow starting by the time we get to about 7 or 7:30 across southwestern Wisconsin, continuing to move to the east, affecting spots like Madison for the lunch hour, and then as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, still that snow falling. This is our latest update, so that track has actually shifted slightly to the south, which is interesting, but still we're looking at the possibility of accumulating snowfall as we head into Saturday, and then some rain actually possible later on Sunday. So here is our latest thinking: about 1 to 3 inches of snow in spots north of Madison, in spots in Madison and south and west, 3 to 6 inches of snow. And where those heaviest bands set up, we could get locally heavier amounts of snow possible. Most of that on grassy surfaces, but we could see a little bit accumulate on the roadways, especially during those heavy bursts of snow in the afternoon and evening. Visibility could be a concern with those winds at about 25 miles per hour, so that could make travel hazardous at times. Give yourself plenty of extra time tomorrow, and that snow will melt pretty quickly with temperatures in the 40s and 50s coming up.
Yeah, I think that's the key. If you're going to Crazy Legs, going to Shred Fest, whatever you're doing tomorrow, give yourself a little extra time to travel through.
And make sure you pack a couple extra layers for sure.
Oh, what a mess. All right, Dave, thank you. We've been talking about the Packers draft. Well, now the first former Badger has come off the board in the NFL draft tonight. We'll have the story coming up in sports.
Former Wisconsin Badger Michael Dieter is selected in the third round of the NFL draft tonight. Dieter goes to the Miami Dolphins with the 78th overall pick. His versatility of playing tackle, guard, and center will serve him well, as will his durability. He started a Wisconsin school record 54 straight games. He was second-team All-American, first-team All-Big Ten last season. Michael Dieter, third round to Miami. The Packers had 2 picks in the NFL draft tonight, one in the second, one in the third rounds. In the second round, the Packers took 310-pound offensive lineman Elton Jenkins from Mississippi State. He's listed as a center, but will play guard for the Packers to start. And then the Packers got the tight end they were hoping for in the third round. Texas A&M's Jay Sternberger was a consensus All-American last year. Good size, 6'4", 250. Caught 48 passes with 10 touchdowns for Texas A&M this past season. Last night, the Packers picked 2 defensive players in the first round. Michigan defensive end Rashawn Gary and Maryland safety Darnell Savage could provide immediately help for a defense that has had plenty of ups and downs the last number of years. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst says defense has been a priority in free agency and the draft.
Yeah, I think it's obviously was a focus of ours. You know, we wanted to improve our defense, and we've certainly added a number of bodies to that, and guys we're really excited about. So. It's, you know, the football is a team game, and these guys are going to have to come together and gel. But we're really excited about not only the athletes and the players that we've brought onto our defense, but also the guys. I think they're wired the way we want them wired.
This is Clemson coach Dabo Swinney being doused with Gatorade. Today he's doused with a big old bucket of money. Swinney gets a 10-year contract extension worth $93 million. He and Nick Saban will both make $9.3 million a season. The Bucks and Boston Celtics begin the Eastern Conference semifinals Sunday at noon in Milwaukee. The Bucks haven't played since they wrapped up the series with Detroit last Monday. Hey, Giannis, is this long layoff a little weird?
Yes, it's definitely weird. We had 6 days, and it's weird. You know, I could basically take a mini vacation, go to the Bahamas, come back. But yeah, it's weird. You know, I wish we could just play today.
The great Jonathan Taylor track experiment is going to take a little time. Tonight at the Penn Relays, the Badgers' star running back ran a leg of Wisconsin's 4x100-meter relay team, but the Badger team finished 23rd in that event at the Penn Relays. Brewers and Mets waited out almost 3 hours for a rain delay in New York, but they're finally playing now. Just when you think you've seen Lorenzo Cain's best catch, he does something like this. Cain steals a homer from Todd Frazier. Remarkable. It's in the 4th inning. Brewers 5, Mets nothing. And Badger softball's at Purdue this weekend. This afternoon, Jordan Little leads off the Wisconsin 4th inning with a solo homer that gives the Badgers for lead for good. That's Little's 6th homer of the season. Badgers beat Purdue 4-2. They'll play game 2 of the series tomorrow in West Lafayette. We'll be right back.
That was a no doubt about it home run.
You guys have really been trying to figure out what this thing's going to do all day, right?
It's been sending us a lot of mixed signals over the past couple of days, but here's what we're expecting. And remember, this will mostly be on grassy surfaces. About 1 to 3 inches of snow north of Madison in spots like Madison and areas to the south and west. A little bit more snow is possible, and locally heavier amounts are also possible, but that snow gets out of here pretty quickly.
All right, we'll have the latest on News 3 Now this morning. Join us for Shred Fest tomorrow. Have a great weekend.